Hey everyone, Inas here, and welcome in engineering with Mina. And in this episode, I will try, like as usual, I'm building stuff with Rust, and I'm learning through practicing. So this time I will practice a tiny application with Rust that is capable of replacing characters in a string, and I will call it like replace string. So to get started and make sure that we are on the same page, let me represent the problem I want to solve with this application. So it's called replace string, and let me create a representation of a string. A string in Rust is a wrapper around a vector, and this vector contains like the bytes that representing a UTF-8 encoding of a string. So for simplicity, I'll just represent the building blocks of a string as characters. So here I'll go with a string which is my name, so Mina. Let me create four characters. Quickly change it. And like now we have a string called Mina, and what we are trying to do is, for example, replacing every m in this string into n. So because like this string contains one m, the result will be like the application will go through scanning the string, replace every m with an n, and then the result should be something like this, should be Nina. So it will replace every m with an n. And this is the main problem. Like it's very simple, so let's start building it. I'll go to my Rust directory, cd into like demos, okay, and then I will start with cargo new replace string, and I open my code editor. It's good. Okay. Okay, cd replace string in my code editor. Yeah, and now we are ready. So as usual, I just make sure that everything works fine. Cargo run. So all good. Now I'll go through with editing the application. The first thing we'll touch on different aspects on this video, touch on strings, on tuples, creating functions. So here I'll go with first thing I need to ask the user for the letters that he or she want to replace. So I'll print, please input the letters you wanna change, and I'll give an example replacing every X with Y. And now like I'll use the standard input library to accept user input, and then I will define as usual a mutable user input of type string, and then string new, and here I will just accept the user input from the buffer using the stdin standard in, and then read line sorry, user input expect error reading your input. And now like I captured the user input, I stored it in the user input, and just make sure that everything good. Let me print this. You wrote cargo run. Hello. Okay, we are good. So now I have the user input. I need to take the letters from this input. Like the first input will be like the user trying to tell me what letters that he or she wanna exchange. So I create a function. I call it letters to exchange and this will accept a reference to let me call it user input and a reference to a string, and it should return a tuple of like char. And now, like, let me return directly the char. I'll take the user input, I'll convert it into chars, and then I'll take, for the first character, I want just one collection of one, and then I will just last, in this collection, I'll take the last letter, unwrap, and I explained a bit about unwrap on the previous video, but just it's unwrapping what in the option variant, it's sometimes none or some, so it's unwrapping what's in and returning that. I need the exact same letter with a slight change. I won't take for the third character, I will take from 1 to 3. So I'll take the first 3 in the collection, then I'll take the last one, which is the third, and then unwrap. And this function now will return 2 letters from the user input. So just to make sure that everything is good, I will print you wanna change this with that. In here, let me let letters equal letters to exchange and then the user input. So here I will pass it letters first one and letters the second one. And let me check, call run. And I want to change maybe n with n in our example. So you want to change n with n. Let's run one more time. I want to change h with o. So you want to change h with o. So far so good. Let's remove this line. Now I have the letters in my application. I need to go to the next step, which is the actual replacement. So I'll create a function. I'll call it replace, and this function, based on our structure, will accept a user input, and this user input is of type reference to a string, and it will accept letters, and this letters is a tuple of char and the char, 2 letters, and this should return a string. So it should return a string to the end user. I'll create a new string within the method. It's a mutable. I will call it modified text, which is the modified string that we're gonna modify, and I'll create it. It's of type string. I'll create a string from with capacity. I like to be precise, so here I'll create the new string with the same capacity as the string I'm modifying. So we guarantee that it will take the same space in memory as the one I'm modifying. And here I'm modifying user input dot length. So I will take the length of the user input, the sentence that the user wanna replace the characters in, and then I'm creating a new modified text with the same capacity. And as I mentioned a couple of times before, the string is stored, the string type is stored on the heap, not on the stack. So I have the modified text as an empty container that will contain my new characters. Now I need to iterate on the user input. So for a letter in user input dot chars, I'll convert it into characters. And this is like a convenient way. You have other ways, or you have alternative ways of converting the string into bytes. I might create a video about this, but as you might know, in Rust all the strings are of type UTF-8 encoded, and there are some languages that its UTF-8 encode is 2 bytes, not 1 byte. So if you use bytes, you must be aware of like some bytes or some characters are represented in 2 bytes, not just one with UTF-8 encoding. I might like create a video on that. But for now, like using chars will guarantee that I'm having all the time a valid HR or a valid character on each loop on the string. So yeah, and here I wanna say if letter equal letters, that the ones I'm getting from the user, the tuple, the first letter. So here I can do one of two things. I can inject this letter directly into the empty string and then continue the loop for the next one. Or I can just modify the letter I have and have one time injecting a letter. So we can do this in two ways. Let's explore them. And here I can say modify text dot push. I'll push the letters dot one. So for every time you find letters zero, if you find that the character that the user defined, replace it with one and push this into the string. And once you did that, continue the loop. So move to the next cycle. And here for the rest of the sentence that doesn't meet this condition, just inject whatever you have. Modify text dot push letter, the one that we have. And here at the end, return a modified text. And let's test this out. Yeah, okay. To test this, we need to accept one more time. Let me copy this exactly and add it here. This will allow us to accept the user sentence. Let me also copy this. And here, please write your sentence, the sentence that you wanna, or your string, the string that you wanna change the letters on. And then I will call, for example, like let modified text equal replace user input and letters, and here I'll print modified text is. I can also add a new line and modified text. Let's give it a run. So as we explained at the beginning, I'm gonna replace every M with an N, and then this will be on my name. So yeah, it's working fine. Nina is Nina and Amin is Amin, and it's working fine. When you look into this, we have two insertions. We can modify this a bit, or I thought of modifying it a bit here by just making a mutable letter. The letter in the loop is mutable, so I can modify it, and instead of like pushing it, I'll just modify it. So met if it met this condition, if it's the letter that the user want to change, just modify it to the new letter. So this will make it like letters dot one. So if it is the letter that the user wanna change, just exchange it and then inject one time into the new string and then return. This should work fine. Let's build. So Nina, oh sorry, I replace M with N in Nina, and yeah, and it's working fine. And I believe that's it. So this was a simple practice on modifying strings, replacing letters. Uh, for sure, you'll have better solutions, especially if you are experienced trust engineer. As I mentioned before, learning through practicing. If you have better answers or better like solutions, send it my way. I love to learn from it. Today we touched on strings, we touched on tuples, we touched on the UTF-8 encoding for strings. Maybe later I might dedicate some streams for just talking about strings and how you can modify them uh, in a more advanced way. Thanks for joining me, and thanks for watching this video in the live or on the replay. Thanks for all the feedback I'm getting here and on LinkedIn. I hope my videos adds value to you. Very soon I will stream another type of videos related to Rust. It's called, this is Rust practicing, and then I will release Rust learning, which I will discuss conceptual ideas and learning ideas about Rust. Thanks for everything. I hope you have a great day and see you. Bye bye.